All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about an educational philosophy that's been around for over 100 years, but honestly, it might just be the blueprint we need for the future. We're talking about Montessori foundations, and really, how this whole method is about cultivating the next generation.
I mean, really think about it. You've seen this, right? That kid who is so focused on building a tower or just staring at a bug on a leaf, they're completely in their own world. It's not just random play, is it? It's pure, raw curiosity at work. Well, what if that wasn't just something to do before real learning starts? What if that was the learning?
And that's the whole secret right there. That's the core of what we're digging into. The Montessori method doesn't try to interrupt that amazing focus. Instead, it's all about building a world around it, a world that protects it, nurtures it, and turns that natural curiosity into this powerful engine for learning that can last a whole lifetime.
Okay, so how does this actually work? What does it look like on a Tuesday morning? Well, it all starts with completely rethinking what a classroom is, and especially what a teacher does. And the best analogy, honestly, is to stop thinking of a teacher as a boss and start thinking of them as a gardener.
Think about it. So much of traditional education can feel like an assembly line, right? You put in the information, you follow the steps, and you hope a standardized product comes out at the end. But a gardener? A gardener doesn't build a flower. They can't force it. What they do is prepare the soil, make sure there's enough sunlight and water, and then they step back. They trust the seed to grow into what it's naturally meant to be. That's the whole Montessori vibe right there.
And of course, a garden is pretty pointless without the seed. In the Montessori universe, the child is the absolute center of everything. The entire system is built around one core idea: follow the child's natural path. This quote from the founder, Maria Montessori herself, says it all. It's a total 180 from what we normally think of as a good classroom. Success isn't a room full of quiet kids waiting for the teacher to talk. Nope. Success is a buzzing room full of kids so engaged in what they're doing that the adult in the room is almost invisible. It's all about building real, genuine independence.
And this whole approach has a name. It's called child-led learning. It basically means the curriculum isn't some fixed highway everyone has to drive on at the same speed. It's more like a network of paths, and each child follows the one that fascinates them, at their own pace. If a kid is suddenly obsessed with numbers, they dive deep into math. If it's letters, they can spend all morning with language materials. And the result? Learning stops being a chore they have to do and becomes something they genuinely love to do.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Child-led? Isn't that just chaos? But it's actually the opposite. It's a very carefully, very intentionally designed system. Maria Montessori called it a structure of freedom, and it holds itself up with three really important pillars.
So, what holds this whole thing together? It comes down to these three big ideas: the prepared environment, the teacher as a guide, and self-directed discovery. These three things work together to create that magic mix of freedom and focus. Let's break them down one by one.
First up, the environment itself. A Montessori classroom looks and feels different. Everything is built for the child. The furniture is their size, and all the learning materials are on low, open shelves where they can just grab what they need. A lot of the materials are even self-correcting, which means a kid can figure out if they made a mistake on their own without needing a teacher to point it out. The whole room basically whispers, "This space is for you. Go ahead, explore."
And this brings us back to the teacher's role, and this comparison just nails it. We go from the sage on the stage, the expert at the front of the room who has all the answers, to the guide on the side. A Montessori guide is more of an expert observer. They watch each child, figure out what they're ready for next, and then quietly connect them to the right activity. They aren't directing traffic. They're helping each driver find their own best route.
Which leads us to the final and maybe most important pillar: self-directed discovery. Because you've got this amazing environment and this helpful guide, the kids are free to choose their own work. And that freedom of choice, well, that's the secret sauce. Because when a child chooses what they work on, they're not just learning, they're achieving that incredible state of deep focus we talked about at the very beginning. And it's in that state of flow that real learning, real self-mastery actually happens. So, you put it all together: the right environment, the right kind of teacher, and the freedom for a child to discover things for themselves. What do you get? What kinds of skills does this actually produce? Well, it turns out the outcomes are a perfect match for the challenges of the 21st century.
Take a look at this. The skills that come out of this approach are exactly what we're all talking about today. At the top of the list is independence, just being able to think and do for yourself. Right behind that, problem solving and creativity,
Which makes total sense, because these kids are constantly figuring things out without being told the answer. And because the classrooms often have kids of different ages, collaboration just becomes a natural part of the day. All of it is built on that foundation of deep concentration.
And here's the most important takeaway. These are not just skills to get a good grade on a test. These are skills for life. In a world that's changing faster than ever, being able to adapt, to think for yourself, and to love learning, that's way more valuable than just memorizing a bunch of facts that might be obsolete tomorrow.
So that brings us to the big finish. Why does this 100-year-old method matter so much, right here, right now, as we're all trying to figure out how to prepare our kids for the future?
It's because the future isn't going to be about who has all the answers memorized. It's going to be about who knows how to ask the best questions. By protecting that innate curiosity and building adaptability from day one, Montessori isn't just preparing kids for the next grade. It's preparing them for a world we can't even imagine yet, a world that is going to need creative, flexible, independent thinkers more than ever before.
And really, it all comes down to this one simple, powerful question. If we all agree that children come into this world as natural-born explorers, just dying to figure everything out, then shouldn't their education feel less like a checklist and a whole lot more like a grand adventure?